Welcome back. Just moments away from the green flag flying at Atlanta Motor Speedway. Trucks rolling off of pit road and on to the racetrack. Under the lights, always a great show. The trucks hit the track, and we have numerous cameras around the racetrack, but also cameras on board that we're going to ride along with. Guys, take us through them.
You got it. Let's go down inside of Todd Bodine's truck, and this has been a rough ride lately. 4 of the last 7 races he's had a crash, so we'll see if Todd can get through tonight. He's won here in 2006, so he knows how to get it done here, Phil. We'll also hop on board with Matt Crafton. Matt starting in the 10th spot. He has 2 wins in his Truck Series career, and one of them came on a 1.5-mile track, so he's confident when he heads to a place like this.
We're also going to take a look from the pole. Ty Dillon in the NRA Museum Bass Pro Shop Chevrolet. First time ever here at Atlanta, and he jumps on the pole.
Let's go inside the other truck. Kyle Busch starting in the 4th spot, and see if we can get a word with Kyle. Hey Kyle, Michael Waltrip up in the speed booth. Welcome back, buddy. You got a truck you can go get him with tonight?
I'd certainly like to think so. Our DG Tundra has been really good this today and through practice, so we'll see how the nighttime changes things for us, and hopefully the track will come to our truck and conditions will be right.
Well, when you head down into turn 1, I know it's going to be really tempting to jump up on the outside and try to get by those couple of cats ahead of you. Is that the game plan? Do you think the high side is going to be where you're going to go tonight?
I think you're going to have to work your way up there towards the night unfolds, but early it'll definitely be down at the bottom. Just these trucks have so much throttle on time, and throttle on time, the shortest way around, it all kind of works that way.
Well, we appreciate you giving us a little bit of heads up what we might expect. Have a good race, and we'll talk to you later, bud.
10-4, thanks.
Starting grid rolling across the top of the screen. Again, it is Ty Dillon and Tim George that will bring the field to the green flag. Let's take a look at the particulars of this racetrack. We talk about 1.5 miles all being similar, but at the same time, they all have their own intricacies.
Well, this place is a whole lot like trying to compare Martinsville to Bristol. They're both 1/2 mile, but that's it. That's where the comparison's in. So slippery, so much speed. These guys are going to have a lot of gas down, like Kyle said, when they head down this 2,300-foot front stretch. When they get to the corner, the bank's there to hold them, but there isn't any grip to hold them.
Yeah, and Kyle talked about running the bottom early on, but we know we're going to see trucks right out against the wall searching for that grip.
I'll be shocked if he gets to turn 1 and he doesn't make a right and try to go around the outside of Tim George Jr.
That was our Just for Men Auto Stop track description. Take a look at our race analysis. 36 trucks. This one, a 200-mile race. Pretty quick.
It is. You see the pit window, 51 to 57 laps. That's how far you can go on fuel. They're going to want tires before that, guys.
10 laps, maybe. Could I have some tires? You got enough to do it that soon? That's going to be a key to getting this race won. What you do on pit road.
Hermie, what's another key that we're going to be watching tonight?
We want to keep an eye on Ty Dillon, Rick. The number 3 truck has been in the championship conversation all year long, but last Wednesday night at Bristol Motor Speedway, those championship hopes took a big hit. As you can see on a final restart, coming to get the green flag, restarting 4th, he drops to the middle of the racetrack. He is out of fuel, or did not pick up all of the fuel out of his truck. Really cost him a lot of points. And he comes to Atlanta. First laps on this racetrack in any kind of vehicle, qualifies on the pole, and this team knows to really be a contender for a championship, not only do they need to finish in the top 5, they need to win. Ray Dunlap.
Well, thank you, Hermie. You know, I spent a lot of time keeping track of which trucks these guys have week in and week out. This year, James Buscher's won 3 races in one single truck. And over the years, we've seen teams like Germain's and Kevin Harvick win 4 or 5 times. But nobody has ever had a truck like the one Kurt Busch is in tonight. This is Billy Ballou's chassis number 11, and it has the very best pedigree in the history of Camping World Truck Series racing. Look at this, 12 different wins with 3 drivers. It all started back in Las Vegas in 2004, and Eric Almirola's gotten a couple of victories, but most of the time, there's been a Busch behind the wheel. Kyle with 9 wins, and tonight, Kurt hopes to add his name to the list.
Thanks, Ray. And at the top of the list, I see Shane Meal's name up there. And earlier in practice and qualifying, we were talking about helmet throwing. Shane Meal won that race in Vegas and threw his helmet into the crowd.
And it was great to see Shane Meal at the track here today, too, wandering around. Everybody getting a chance to say hello to him. That was really fun. You know, Rick, my motorhome's broke down pretty much all the time. I got it in 04. How's a truck that started its career in 04 winning races?
Well, it's pretty special for Billy Ballou's team. Take a look at how special this season has been for Timothy Peters. Right now, a 17-point lead over second place Buscher.
Guys, with 9 races to go, last year, Austin Dillon was 29 points behind Johnny Sauter and came back and won that championship. So these guys are not out of it by a long stretch.
And you look at Ty Dillon there, he's got those 25 points he's down. He saw 20 of them go out the window with 2 to go at Bristol. That's how quickly things can change here in the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series.
And you mentioned quickly things can change. Things are about to change extremely quickly at this racetrack because it's one of the fastest we go to. 36 trucks, 2 by 2, coming through the quad oval. Green flag in the air. We're underway in Atlanta.
Saw Ty Dillon spin the tires a little bit on the initial start.
As did Tim George Jr. And Kyle Busch gets around the outside of George. Looks like maybe he's thinking about wandering up on the outside of Ty Dillon.
He's certainly in the second lane, that's for sure.
Tim George drops back. He was in the middle of a 3 wide situation. Is again as they go down the backstretch. 3 and 4 wide as they enter turn 3. Side by side for the lead through 3 and 4. Can Kyle Busch lead the first lap in Atlanta? His first lap back in 2012. Kyle Busch in front of the field.
I think he was trying to keep his plan a secret, but I had him called out on that the whole time. I knew he'd go high. He did. Now he goes to the bottom of the racetrack and sees if he can pull away. Look at Matt Crafton all the way up in the 3rd or 4th lane getting around his teammate Johnny Sauter.
Boy, it looked like he was able to hold that thing wide open on the high side there.
Heck, in qualifying for the Cup race here on Speed, we saw the pole 1 with a guy running around the top of this racetrack. I don't know that that's ever happened before, and that just tells you how valuable that real estate up top is. There's a lot of grip up there.
And how wide this racetrack is. We're seeing guys hug the yellow line at the bottom of the racetrack. Guys running all the way up to the wall on the outside.
And they'll be in the middle, too. We'll have them 3 wide all the way around this racetrack.
Jason White on the outside of our outside pole sitter, Tim George Jr. Jason's making a nice run in his gunbroker.com Ford, trying to bring Kurt Busch along with him. That's that truck, that special truck that was built in 2004 and has all those wins. You watch Kurt Busch go to the top of this racetrack, all the way up there.
And he's going to make the pass on Jason White on the high side.
That 5 truck is going to try to follow him. He tucked in now behind the 23 of Jason White. That's Eric Almirola, who also won in that chassis 11.
James Buescher in the 31 down toward the bottom of the racetrack. Matt Crafton running the higher line.
I guarantee you, Eric Almirola went over there and looked at old chassis, that chassis too, and said, "Oh, good memories here. Glad you brought this baby to town."
Crafton takes 3rd away from James Buescher. Buescher drops back into the 4th spot now.
Look at the run Buescher gets off the turn, though. Matt tried to go down to the bottom of the racetrack. I guess guys kind of think maybe their tires will live longer if they run around the bottom instead of getting them all up on the high side where the pavement is a little bit grippier. So they want to go down there, but you could see the speed. Matt made the pass on the top side, tried to run the bottom. There comes Buescher right back underneath him.
On lap 5 of 130, and already Kyle Busch has a 0.3 of a second lead over Ty Dillon. Dillon running strong, though, in the 2nd spot. Buescher and Crafton continue to fight for the 3rd spot, and back in 5th, our point leader, Timothy Peters.
Yeah, these guys are already about 0.3 of a second off their fastest lap, and we've only completed 5 now.
We saw another truck, the white truck of Parker Kligerman. When we look back there at our point leader, Timothy Peters, everybody talks about the white truck you see on the bottom of the track there just beside Johnny Sauter as being one of the best trucks in race runs. Be interesting to see what Kligerman can do. Looks good early.
And Phil, you talked a lot about tire management. Early on in a run like this, if we have a long green flag run, maybe a 50-lapper where they'd have to come in for fuel, is it a smart move to not push your truck too early in this run?
Well, I think right now they know they have 3 sets of tires in the pits. Let's see how long these tires are going to last. And these crew chiefs will be monitoring. Okay, we were able to run this on the 1st lap, this on the 5th lap, this on the 10th lap, and then see how much they fall off.
I like going hard right now, Rick. And like Phil said, let's analyze what we can do and how our tires look when they come off. Kyle Busch is faced with some guys that he hasn't raced much with, Phil. You got Ty Dillon there that's all over the back of Busch. Nelson Piquet Jr.'s come into his own this year. Look at Ron Hornaday. He's working the bottom of the racetrack. Wow, that's a strong move by Hornaday. Can he complete the pass? Yes.
He did with a little help from Ryan Blaney. Ryan let him in, it looked like.
Probably a good idea. We've seen Ron go ahead and get in. So Ryan made a good decision there.
Ray, what's going on with that 88 team?
Well, Rick, Matt Crafton just came on the radio and said, I had a bit of a hesitation in the engine, so I've already switched boxes. So they're on the B box. You have 2 ignition boxes in these trucks just in case. But he said, I'm a little bit worried. I'm not sure it's any better.
And you don't want to hear something like that out of your driver only 8 laps into the race.
You're right. That truck of James Busher just looks like it's amazing on the bottom of the racetrack. We saw Crafton make the move on the high side, but James went to the bottom and he's able to not only pass Crafton back, but pull away from him.
Yeah, we saw Matt Crafton make the initial pass on the high side, then he went down to the bottom. James was able to get underneath him, but now James is getting it done on the bottom.
Two distinctly different lines being run by the guys battling for the third spot. Everyone chasing after the Dollar General 18 of Kyle Busch. Deja vu to 2011. Welcome back. I know you had just mentioned that Kyle Busch may have not raced against a bunch of these guys. Well, as a matter of fact, he's only raced one time against Ty Dillon in the trucks. That was Texas a year ago. Well, right now, Ty Dillon is leading this race, and this is how it happened.
Got a great run off of turn number 2. You see the momentum he gets on Kyle as they get down into turn number 3, and it's just going to drive it to the bottom, and this truck sticks down there.
But watch the work Kyle Busch had to do here. Sideways because he couldn't hold it down. Dillon makes the pass, but that's how these trucks slide around here at Atlanta. Ty Dillon made the pass, tried to run up high a little bit. Kyle closed back in on Dillon, but now Ty has gone to the bottom of the racetrack and pulled away.
And these guys have slowed down about 1.25 seconds over their fastest laps.
The top two are separated by 0.8 of a second, and then it's 3 seconds back to James Busher. Let's go back trackside to Ray Dunlap.
Well, Rick, I've been listening into the radio for Ty Dillon, and they've been talking him through what part of the racetrack seems to work the best. It appears that in turn 1 and 2, he really likes the high side. It's great on entry, and on over in 3 and 4, he's been trying the bottom a little bit. His crew chief, Marcus Richmond, has been on the radio and said, your times are great in turns 1 and 2. Don't do anything different. Try to keep using the high side. Hermie?
Ray, the very same comments from Kyle Busch in the 18. He thinks he's actually as good or better than the 3 truck in turns 1 and 2 because he can use the top side of the racetrack. He also said that he was not as good as the 3 in 3 and 4 because he could not use the bottom quite as good. But last time on the radio, as you can see him moving to the bottom of the racetrack, he said, I'm going to try to start going the opposite of where the 3 truck goes to try to keep some clean air on the nose and see if I can make up some of this ground.
Yeah, Herbie, and we heard from Kyle Busch talking earlier about it'll only be a matter of time before my brother gets up there and we start battling for the lead. Well, it's happening quickly. Kurt Busch has moved his way up into the top 10. He's running 7th right now, actually moved up to the 6th spot. A little bit of a wiggle there coming out of 4, but still a great battle right now with the 5 of Eric Almirola also moving to the front.
Yeah, both those guys have made their way to the front right now. And remember, that's James Finch's Phoenix Racing team that's fueling that truck for Billy Ballou, the 51 truck.
Oh, and he's sideways off turn 2. Really hard to hold her down on the low side as you exit these corners. Kurt slides, gives Timothy Peters a chance to move in. But watch Kurt when he goes to the high side. He's very experienced. He knows how to run up there higher than most, and you can see that's where he went.
We saw on the left side of the screen the battle for the lead. Kyle Busch had closed the gap down to less than 0.3 of a second, but a little bit of bobble on the bottom of the racetrack allowed James Busher to close the gap on Kyle Busch now. So now James Busher coming into this lead battle.
See the 30 of Nelson Piquet Jr. getting by Timothy Peters to take over that position. That moves him up to 8.
Every position is a point, too, and these guys, it's far enough into this season. We talked about just 10 to go. These guys are counting every point and understanding who they're racing for this championship now.
Since the drop of the green flag, the guys have been running every different line around this 1.5 mile track, and right now it's Ty Dillon who's leading the field. Kyle Busch giving chase. Busher, Kligerman, and Crafton your top 5.
Bush's dog on that show. You don't. You're right, Rick. You never know.
You never know.
What are they going to make Travis Pastrana jump over?
We do know
the whole stage probably.
We do know that Ty Dillon is still leading this race. Kyle Busch still chasing. He's dropped back almost 0.5 second, and it was only in about a lap.
Yeah, it's been a seesaw battle. Look at Kyle, how close to that outside wall. He talked about how early in the race you'd want to be down low, but we're not early anymore because these cats are all over the place.
I think he's searching right now, trying to search for some grip. We're about halfway through a normal fuel run. First time they may not go as far because of the pace laps in qualifying, but they've slowed it down 2 seconds over their fastest laps of the race.
Ty Dillon is running an interesting line. Look at this line. He's not up high or down low, you see Dillon, but then Kyle Busch is right on the edge of scrubbing that wall.
running about as high as you can run without changing the paint scheme on your truck.
That's precision driving right there. And I've never really seen anybody operate in the line that Ty Dillon is making work leading this race. You see Jay White there. He's up on the high side racing with Ryan Blaney.
The battle for the 12th spot. Ryan had it. Jason White has just taken it over.
Jason started in the top 10, making his way back toward the top 10. Look at the battle here. This is for 6th position. PK Jr. to the bottom. Kurt's been up on the high side the whole race, and you can see Eric Almirola. He's hanging right with this battle. Good run for that 5 truck.
Yeah, we saw PK behind those two last time we saw him. Now he has passed both Kurt Busch and Eric Almirola to move up to the 6th spot.
Closing in on probably, we're looking at maybe 15 laps, maybe sooner before we have green flag pit stops. What's the strategy that the crew chiefs are going to be thinking about coming up on this first stop?
Yeah, right now, anytime now, I want 4 tires. We're going to come in, we're going to get 4 tires. If they pit under green, definitely 4 tires. If they pit under caution, 4 tires right now.
4 is going to be the number here for sure. And I think right now, going off what the driver says, try to make some adjustments. Again, no driver is going to be really happy. You can't be happy running 2 seconds slower than that truck is capable of running on new tires, but you have to make the best of it.
Can a crew chief take a big swing on this first stop, or do you want to make little advances on trying to get your truck to handle better?
Well, look here. Ty Dillon lost all his momentum.
Caution comes out.
Lost his momentum lapping Dakota Armstrong, and Kyle Busch was coming, but he was saved by the caution, as is Dakota Armstrong. He'll get the Aaron's lucky dog, get back on the lead lap. So a break for that young cat, and probably a break for Ty Dillon because of how he had to chop that truck down, and Kyle had a lot of momentum off turn 4. Probably would have been a battle for the lead when we got to 1.
And I think just about everybody in this field is going to be glad of this caution. Get them some tires.
Kim Lopez showing us the yellow flag. First caution comes out at Atlanta Motor Speedway after 30 laps are in the books. So we will see everyone make their way to pit road in just a moment. Crews up on the wall anticipating their drivers coming down pit road for this first pit stop. Again, we went 30 laps before debris on the backstretch brought out the first caution. So now Ty Dillon's team has to do very well to get them out in front of Kyle Busch. They will be making their way onto pit road now. It's Ty Dillon, Kyle Busch, James Buescher, Parker Kligerman, and Matt Crafton. They are your top 5. PK Jr., Kurt Busch, Eric Almirola, Timothy Peters, Johnny Sauter, your top 10. We go down to Hermie.
Rick, the first driver to man the pit road is Kyle Busch. He needs more rear grip. Going to be 4 tires, an air pressure adjustment, Sunoco fuel for Kyle Busch. James Buescher's truck is neutral. Just a little bit of an air pressure adjustment to try to get that truck going earlier on a green flag run. Ray?
Bottom of the screen, Hermie, you see the Menards Toyota. Matt Crafton says no grip in the rear, and he still thinks something may be wrong with the motor. In pit stall number 1, you see that Bass Pro Shops number 3. They throw 4 tires on there and get off way out in the front. Looks like the 7 will be second off pit road.
Parker Kligerman and James Buescher, both with great pit stops, move up. So Parker Kligerman gains 2 spots. Timothy Peters gains 4 spots on pit road. Sauter gaining 3 spots. He can't be disappointed with the performance of his pit crew.
Matt Crafton,
or maybe he can.
Matt Crafton, big loser, loses 4 spots.
So in a long green flag run to start the race at Atlanta Motor Speedway, Ty Dillon out in front wins the race off pit road as well. Welcome back. It's the Jeff Foxworthy's Grid Chips 200 from Atlanta Motor Speedway here on Speed. Ty Dillon, race leader, was able to outrun Parker Kligerman, James Buescher, Kyle Busch, Timothy Peters to get back out on the racetrack in front of this group.
Phil, check out the 30 truck. We talk about how these tires give up and how valuable that grip is when they're new. When he leaves the pit road, he gets on the gas too hard and turns this baby sideways. I'm talking this will hurt the performance of those tires in the long run. Watch right there. Sideways, you see the tire spinning.
See the black marks right there?
Leaving black marks. You just don't want to do that. You got to try to baby those tires. Take care of them the best you can. You might think, oh man, that's not that big of a deal. But they were new before you did that, and you want them to stay new as long as you can.
We used to joke at a racetrack like this, if you push the car around in the garage area, you scuff the tires.
So again, the caution came out for debris on the backstretch. That's been cleaned up. And now the field reset once again.
What about that pit stop by Parker Kligerman's team? Jumped him all the way up in the 2nd spot. Ty Dillon's crew was awesome, as we expect them to be. Remember, they stumbled a little bit at Bristol, and every time that team stumbled, they've come back with vengeance, and it looks like tonight could be that night too.
We saw Parker Kligerman running extremely well before the caution. How will he do when the green comes out? It's back out. We're back to racing.
Last time that Ty Dillon started on the pole and Kyle Busch was right behind him, Kyle come back with the lead. Can he do it again?
We saw James Buescher try to get to the inside of Parker Kligerman. Look, and they're splitting Ty Dillon.
3 wide for the lead. Kyle Busch on the high side. Down low, Parker Kligerman has the advantage. He takes the lead away from Kyle Busch.
Parker was able to block James Buescher for getting underneath him, getting into turn number 1, and he emerges with the lead. Let's see if he can hold it.
Kligerman staying on the bottom of the racetrack. Kyle Busch running the higher line, trying to get the momentum up, take that spot away. It's Kligerman that leads that lap.
Can't say enough for this kid, Parker Kligerman, the job he's done since he's jumped in that 7 truck. He's been solid, leading the race here at Atlanta. Kyle to the bottom, though.
Here's the battle for the lead. Kyle Busch takes it away from Parker Kligerman. Down the backstretch they go.
Good side-by-side battle for third with Ty Dillon and James Buescher. Ty on the outside, Buescher on the inside.
James Buescher with another strong race truck as he runs to the bottom. Ty Dillon right in the middle, and now the momentum slowing Ty Dillon down.
You could see Kurt Busch.
And the caution comes out again. Tim George into the wall. Ron Hornaday with damage to the front of that truck, as well as Jason White.
Man, Jason White was so optimistic about his chances tonight. George, Hornaday, and White, those trucks are done.
Yeah, Tim George was hanging around just outside the top 10 prior to that first caution flag.
You can see just tore the front of that truck all to pieces.
And we've seen numerous times, you see the damage to the front. Well, Ron might not see it because he has the hood in front of the windshield.
You're still good.
But we have seen so many times trucks get loose in turn 4 here at this racetrack. You're carrying so much speed coming out onto the quad oval.
We've seen them get loose everywhere, and that time one just got a little loose, probably sideways underneath another truck, and caused a 3-truck accident. Let's see if we can see what happened. George is sideways when Hornaday and White get there.
It looks like that's what started it.
Yeah, Jason White and Ron couldn't see where they're going either, Phil. There's a lot of smoke because of the 2-truck being sideways.
A little bit of contact. Looked like the truck underneath.
Was that Ryan Blaney? No, it wasn't Blaney.
It might have been Hornaday. It might have been Hornaday underneath the 2 of Tim George. And Tim got a little bit loose. Then I think Ron got a little bit loose. They made a little contact, and that's what sent him up the hill. Jason White was an innocent victim, came along with nowhere to go.
This is a white truck, you're right, Phil. So, man, I don't see how Hornaday caused it and then got behind him. Maybe we get another look at it, but that was an interesting looking crash.
Chris Fontaine, we saw him sliding into the grass infield. The team's going to go to work on that too, see if they can get him back out on the track, but a lot of damage to the back of the truck. Our second caution, this one for an accident. Took place in turns 3 and 4. Let's take another look.
You can see Ron Hornaday looks like gets into the left rear of Tim George Jr. and turns George into the wall and collects Hornaday and Jason White with them. We have another view. You can see Ron on the low side of the racetrack.
Right here, right in there. See, looked like Ron got a little bit loose. Tim was moving up the racetrack to give Ron a little bit more room, and then Ron got a little bit loose and then had to use some more racetrack. When he did, he caught the left rear quarter panel of Tim George's truck.
So 3 trucks caught up in this. Tim George, Ron Hornaday, Jason White. Tim George trying to get that truck back on the track. Welcome back under the lights. That's the crew for the number 3, Ty Dillon. They're watching right here on Speed. The Jeff Foxworthy's Grit Chips 200. And yeah, Kyle Busch out front. Parker Kligerman running second. Aaron's lucky dog goes to the 99. Brian Silas will get a lap back. Let's see if he can battle with the guys up front. Kyle Busch, Kligerman, Buescher, Ty Dillon, Kurt Busch, your top 5 in Atlanta. Sunday, NASCAR race day is a must-see. With 2 to go, the wild card battle is boiling over. Our experts predict who gets in. Plus, fresh off his dust-up with smoke, Matt Kenseth is going to join us live. NASCAR race day, fueled by Sunoco, Sunday, 4:30 Eastern, only on Speed. Riding along with Ty Dillon. That last restart didn't work out so well for him after he was up front. He lost that top spot, and Parker Kligerman has been battling up front very nicely. Hermie?
You're right, Rick, and part of the reason why he may have lost the lead to Kyle Busch on the last restart, they dropped air pressure on this number 7 truck on their pit stop to try to make it better on the longer run. So if he can keep the 18 truck in sight, they feel like they may be able to run him back down at the end of a fuel run.
And you know, when you drop a little air pressure, you're doing that for the long haul. They're trying to make that truck better after 20 or 30 laps. They're going to give up a little bit maybe initially, but then they want it to be there.
Check out the last 4 races for this cat. It's been solid week in and week out, and I love what he's doing here tonight. He's driven a fast race, but his pit crew did a great job. Everybody is pitching in, and this team's fast.
That's 2 different teams too, you know.
Kyle Busch, Parker Kligerman, side by side as they come back to the green. Green flag back in the air. We're back underway.
Parker Kligerman's going to hang right in there with Kyle Busch.
A great restart for the 7 on the inside. Parker Kligerman trying to take that top spot away. Here comes Ty Dillon. He's got to run on the outside now, battling for the 3rd spot. They're going to be 3 wide as they go down the backstretch for the lead.
James Buescher jumps down to the inside. They're going to leave Parker Kligerman behind.
Buescher to the inside. He gets by Ty Dillon. He takes second away. Kyle Busch out in front once again.
There's his brother Kurt lurking. Oh, let's make it in the wall. Is that some speedy drive from the
speed orb, I think.
And you can look at Kurt Busch. He's trying to drive up past Ty Dillon. We heard Kyle talking earlier. He said, if my brother can get up there, I'd love to race with him. Well, his brother's on his way.
It's about to happen. But right now, he's got his hands full with the 31. I talked earlier, James Buescher, 3 wins on the 5.5 miles already this year. Could he make it 4 in 2012?
That's a great race truck here. Brand new piece for that Turner Motorsports team, and he's got this lead.
Ran away from Kyle Busch through 3 and 4 and takes the lead away.
Kyle Busch goes away for almost a year, and he comes back and he said, these boys are really catching on to this deal. I only raced with Ty Dillon once, and he's trying to pass me for second. Buescher wasn't this big of a factor for me last year, and he's taking the lead.
How about, I'm sorry, Rick, how about Parker Kligerman? He restarts second. Looks like he had a shot at the lead through 1 and 2, and he's all the way back to 8.
Kyle Busch continues to run that high line, but right now, James Buescher has the fast truck right on the bottom of the racetrack. Ty Dillon doing the same thing. Here comes Kurt Busch in the 51. Ray.
Kurt Busch is in the middle groove. I'll tell you this. He said on the radio a couple times, I'd like a little more side bite. Now, the Phoenix Racing construction team is actually pitting him. His crew chief is Nick Harrison, and Nick said, I'll tell you what, we're going to drop the track bar 1 round and try to make it a little better. Kurt Busch came on the radio and said, guys, you got her dialed in for me now. He's very happy.
And he's coming up on his brother. The first time they have ever raced together in the Camping World Truck Series. And now it's going to be a battle for position. And that will be for the 2nd spot. Kyle Busch has it. Here comes Kurt Busch for it.
Remember, just a couple of weeks ago, Kyle put Kurt in that truck to try to analyze what the team was doing.
Look at Matt Crafton lurking back there. He's trying to drive up on Ty Dillon. This is a strong top 5.
Ty Dillon running in the 4th spot. Crafton 5th. Back behind them, Nelson Piquet Jr. in 6th. Timothy Peters, Parker Kligerman has dropped back to the 8th spot. Eric Almirola in 9th and Johnny Sauter in 10th.
Look at Ty Dillon. He's going to cut to the inside of Kurt Busch. That's a hard move to make down there on the bottom, but Ty looks like he's got a shot at it.
Ty running the bottom of the racetrack. Kurt runs up high. Battle for the lead. That's 2nd. James Buescher has the lead. Kyle Busch has 2nd, but now Kyle Busch going for that top spot down on the bottom of the racetrack. Kyle Busch is going to take it away from James Buescher.
Boy, Kyle's truck has really come on here. They've run about 6 or 8 laps since this restart.
James says, not so quick, boys. Got a pretty good run on the top side.
And right around the outside, James Buescher goes back by the 18 of Kyle Busch. Now, Busch down right on the yellow line as they work their way through 1 and 2 and down the backstretch.
Not able to clear James Buescher, though, that time. James fights back in the outside, has a little bit of an edge, getting in 3.
Door to door, these two fighting for the lead. Kyle Busch on the bottom of the racetrack. James Buescher running the middle of the racetrack now.
And by the way, they're side by side for 3rd as well.
Those two, Kurt Busch and Ty Dillon, fighting for that spot. Ty has it now. Kurt Busch drops back to the 4th position.
Last time back, Kyle Busch had the lead by 19 thousandths of a second. That time, he had it by 18 thousandths of a second. We're having a dispute here.
They're getting closer.
Having a dispute here in the front, aren't we?
Kyle Busch out in front of James Buescher. Now Buescher Looking a little bit to the inside of that 18. He's been running the middle of the racetrack. Now he goes down to the bottom following that 18 around. Both of them racing each other very respectfully. We saw James Buescher giving him at least 2 truck lengths in between the two. As Kyle Busch was running on the bottom of the track, Buescher was running up toward the middle.
Well, some of that is self-preservation too. We saw some trucks running together. As a matter of fact, that's what caused our last caution flag.
Here's 3 wide while you speak. Phil, look at, Max Gresham in the middle.
Ryan Blaney down at the bottom of the racetrack.
John West Tonley, the Zaxby's Toyota up top.
3 young cats trying to figure it all out. And they were 3 wide into the corner. That's a good way to learn, I guess.
And Cale Gale's going to throw that 33 into the mix now as he comes up on the back bumper of Ryan Blaney.
You think we don't have competition all the way through the field? This is the battle for 17th.
Ty Dillon has caught up to the top 2. The battle for the lead continues. Kyle Busch had it. Here comes Buescher once again, looking to the inside to take that top spot.
Hey guys, remember, we don't have just a handful of laps left. We have 77 laps to go here.
Kyle Busch back up toward the wall.
Yeah, he was toward the wall.
Right at the wall. James Buescher takes the lead back. Ty Dillon running 3rd.
Buescher lost the lead on the top, got it back on the bottom. Caution's out.
Not yet.
Oh, shoot. Guess I saw the Sunoco sign. I saw something big and yellow in the way these guys race. You never know when the caution's going to fly.
Yeah, any minute now.
Remember when we were watching qualifying, these guys were just about wide open all the way around the racetrack. Listen to how much Ty Dillon's out of the throttle here. Then Wade's back into it. Out of the throttle, a little bit more down at 1 and 2, it seemed like that last time. Good corner for Ty that lap.
Yeah, he's got a really good truck, and that's so fun when you're on a slick track like this. You got the leaders in sight, and you can just tell your truck is sticking better than theirs.
And the 17 of Timothy Peters running in the 10th spot right now. Kind of uncharacteristic after we saw him dominate at Bristol last Wednesday, Hermie.
Potential problems for our point leader, Rick. He is reporting losing power under the hood. He has already switched to the second ignition box inside that truck. He's been slowly falling back through traffic, so we'll keep an eye on the 17, but it looks like he might have some problems under the hood.
If Timothy Peters has problems, he brings about 5 guys right back into this championship hunt.
We documented the problems that Ty Dillon had at the end of that race at Bristol, losing 20-some points. He may be able to get them all back right here.
And now Ty Dillon takes 2nd away from James Buescher. He'll set his sights on Kyle Busch now.
You know, a lot of times what you don't know won't hurt you. This might be a great example of that. Ty Dillon never made a lap here before. Heard all the stories about how fun it is and how slick it is and how you slide around and you can run from the bottom to the top. He said, all right, that sounds cool. I'll try that. And man, is he doing a great job going for the lead.
Here he goes to the bottom of the racetrack. Kyle Busch right up against the wall. Down the backstretch they go, side by side for the lead. Here comes Ty Dillon.
What an incredible job by all these guys. Very, very demanding racetrack. Very tricky racetrack. And as you mentioned, Ty Dillon never been here before, just took the lead back.
4 different drivers have been out front. Ty Dillon has led a few laps, as has the 18, James Buescher and Parker Kligerman. All have been on point at Atlanta Motor Speedway, and now it's Ty Dillon's turn back up front. Kyle Busch holding on to 2nd. Buescher, Nelson Piquet has moved up to 4th. Matt Crafton in the 5th spot. Wide racetrack means a lot of different lines here at Atlanta Motor Speedway, and we're seeing all of them tonight. To Atlanta Motor Speedway. Out in front, it's Kyle Busch once again. Yes, he has taken the top spot away from Ty Dillon. This is how it happened.
But he's got a lot of company, Rick. You can see back there, James Buescher, Nelson Piquet, all these guys racing for the lead. Look at the move that Kyle makes to the bottom of the racetrack.
So Ty go to the top of the racetrack. We heard a spotter, Billy O'Day, say your truck looks like it loses a little ground if you exit turn number 2 on the bottom. Ty moved up the racetrack. When he did, Kyle Busch took the bottom and made that pass.
You know, amazingly enough, we've seen Kyle Busch run high almost every lap here. He decides to go down low. He makes the pass, takes over the top spot from Ty Dillon. Let's look through the field here at Atlanta Motor Speedway. We'll start with Hermie.
Yeah, Rick, Kyle Busch using his experience to his advantage. That last restart, a couple of trucks got away from him, got out front. He was very calm, cool, collected on the radio. He's moving his truck around, changing the line, doing what he can to keep this truck up front, but getting another battle from the 3. But right now the truck is neutral, just trying to find the right adjustment for the final stop. Ray?
Well, Hermie, obviously the 3 team was very disappointed with what happened at Bristol, but he's been on the radio telling his crew chief, Marcus Richmond, my truck is absolutely perfect. Don't change a thing, and that's obvious. He's been able to run side by side with Kyle Busch. These guys have an awesome battle for the lead. Hermie?
Well, Ray, right now James Busher is riding in the 3rd position, but he may not be done yet tonight. He just radioed in crew chief Mike Shelton and told him, I like the balance of the truck. Right now I'm just riding around, letting these guys up front race hard. I'll run them down in the next 15 to 20 laps. Ray?
The truck that Nelson Piquet Jr. is driving is chassis 218. It's the one he used to get his first career win, and they had a really good run at Pocono that slipped away. But he said he's happy with his truck on entry, just a little bit tight as they come off the corner. I've been monitoring Matt Crafton's radio to try to find out if he has anything more to say about that engine. Obviously, it hasn't been a problem as he stays in the top 5. Hermie?
The 7 of Parker Kligerman right now in the 6th position. We reported last time on pit road, crew chief Chad Kendrick dropped the air pressure in that 7 truck. It really hurt him on the start, but right now he's running decent lap times but lost a lot of track position. The 5 truck of Eric Almirola, a very solid run for Richie Waters and his race team. This is what they needed. This is why they put Eric Almirola back in this truck. They're hoping for a solid top 5 finish tonight. Ray?
Well, Hermie, we talked about old chassis number 11 having won 12 races in its career. Realize it was a Chevy when it started. They swapped it over to a Toyota, and now it's back to a Chevy. This is a truck with a Hendrick engine in it, and as I said, Phoenix Racing is here pitting these guys tonight. Kurt is saying he's starting to lose the balance a little bit, and the front end of the truck is starting to drag the racetrack. Hermie?
Joey Coulter is really good in turns 1 and 2. The problem is he is struggling in turns 3 and 4, specifically too loose on the exit of turn 4. He has asked Harold Holly to really tighten his truck up on the exit of turn 4, hoping that will propel him up into the top 5. Ray?
Well, the truck that is in 10th position right now is another Turner Motorsports entry, but obviously Chip Ganassi has a lot to do with putting young Kyle Larson in this truck. This guy has won races all across the country in just about everything he sat in, but when you listen to his radio, he doesn't have much to say. Every once in a while he'll come on and say, truck is neutral. So far, they're hanging in at 10th. Guys?
Young man's looking pretty good right now in that 10th spot, trying to equal or better his career best, which is 10th. Happened back at Kentucky earlier this year. Out in front of this field, it's Kyle Busch still. Now he has a 1.3 second lead over Ty Dillon.
1.3 seconds. He's finally pulling away. That's how competitive things are here.
We think he's pulling away. Things happen fast. They change fast here at Atlanta. Right now, it's Kyle Busch that looks to be heading to victory lane, but there's quite a bit more racing to go. 53 laps and at least one more pit stop.
Yeah, and remember, just a while ago was Ty Dillon and Kyle Busch trading the lead back and forth. Now, all of a sudden, Kyle has opened up about a 3-second lead over that 3 truck right there of Ty Dillon.
See Max Gresham in the 8. He is a lap down to Kyle Busch and Ty Dillon in between first and second.
Guys, remember now, we've got 53 laps to go. We're getting close to being in the window where these guys could make it on one more stop. Most of them could probably make it from about here, with the exception of a green-white checker. Now it's 52 laps to go. We're hearing some noise that some of these guys may short pit a little bit, come in here a little bit earlier than they could go, trying to get some fresh tires, Mikey.
Well, I'm looking at the lap times, and Kurt Busch has really fallen off the pace. He ran a 34 flat last time by, and the leader ran 33 and a half a second, and there he is on pit road. This will make a huge difference, Phil, in his lap times. He can make up all that time he lost if the caution doesn't fly, Ray.
And this is the Bill Holt Chevrolet. They want to get the right rear of that truck up in the air a little bit. They're going to make a track bar adjustment. Kurt Busch said, I really need to be better coming off the corner. They'll throw 4 tires on this Chevy, and here's the bottom line. They are now in their window. They could go the distance with this short pit.
And the reason that's going to work is if we go green, he's going to make up so much time on these guys that stay on the racetrack. Probably 2 seconds a lap here for the first few laps anyway.
Yeah, he'll erase everything he'd given away, and if this thing, like you said, Phil, stays green long enough, he could wind up leading this baby after the pit stops cycle through.
Battle for fifth right there. Parker Kligerman's trying to get that fifth spot away from Matt Crafton. He has it for the moment.
Kligerman working that low line down below the 98 of Dakota Armstrong.
That's Crafton's teammate, Dakota Armstrong. He pulls down low out of the way, gives Matt a good chance to go continue that battle. Looks like Matt's a little bit better right now, but Parker's doing a good job holding him off.
20 trucks on the lead lap right now. Todd Bodine running in the 20th spot. Hermie.
Same idea, trying to get a couple laps worth of new goodie off a new set of tires. Todd Bodine is loose off. He's asked for an air pressure adjustment, 4 tires, and Sunoco fuel.
So we're starting to see the green flag pit stops take place. Miguel Paludo, the next truck to go a lap down to Kyle Busch. And I would think that the strategy would be get onto pit road as quickly as possible.
A lot of times if you do lose a lap like this in your Paludo, you might ride around until the next guy goes a lap down so that you'll get the lucky dog if the caution falls. And you can see John West Townley is the next guy to go a lap down, and he has now. If I were that truck of Gresham straight to pit road, I'd go Paludo as well.
We saw a glimpse of the 3, and we're riding along with him as he makes the long trek down pit road. He had the first stall after winning the pole. He's on his way to you, Ray.
He's here. This is the Bass Pro Shop Chevrolet, and they have said, what do you want to do on these adjustments? Ty said, I don't need to be any tighter, but I was really wearing my tires out bad. You see a wedge adjustment going on the left side. They'll hang 4 tires on this thing. Sunoco fuel going in. Pretty good pit stop. A little bit of a hang up here. They want to get sure that they get all the gas in it, and they'll drop him down. Long pit stop for the 3, Hermie.
The 17 of Timothy Peters makes his way back onto the racetrack. We heard him talking about the engine a little bit a few laps ago. No talk about that in the last 7, 8, 10 laps. Pretty good lap times for the 17. His teammate Parker Kligerman also on pit road, 4 tires and fuel. Took the air pressure adjustment back out. They did the last pit stop, hoping to get more short-term speed, Ray.
Matt Crafton has said his 88 is really sliding through the center of the corners. They're making a wedge adjustment, also did track bar. Back to you, Hermie.
The 18 is on pit road, 4 tires, Sunoco fuel. Kyle has asked for a track bar adjustment to tighten this truck up just a hair. James Busher also on pit road. It'll be 4 tires, no adjustments for the 31 team. Ray?
Nelson PK is here. His sponsorship is drinkb.com, and he is talking about his truck being really tight. There you see the adjustment for them. They'll also go with 4 tires here. He has stalled it a little bit, tries to fire the truck back up. Can he get it going here? Yes, they fire it back up. They've got the fuel in it, and PK's away.
Eric Almirola up front now after these green flag pit stops have started to cycle through, and now he makes his way onto pit road, has to check up so he doesn't get into the back of another truck. Hermie.
Yeah, the 5 of Eric Almirola finally to pit road. They stayed out 2 lead a lap. It'll be 4 tires. Also a track bar adjustment for Eric Almirola. A little bit slow getting to his pit stall, and some steam come out of this truck as well. We'll see if he has any trouble when he gets back on the racetrack.
You can see the crew cleaning all the rubber off the grill. We talk about the tires giving up. The rubber's got to go somewhere. It looked like it went on Almirola's grill pretty heavily there. He should be fine, though, with them brushing that off and getting back on the track. Ross Chastain on pit road, getting some service there to the right side. 4 tires now going on that truck.
Great effort last week for Ross. Best career finish of 3rd at Bristol. Trying to back that up with a top 10.
Joey Coulter scored as race leader right now as we see Dakota Armstrong making his way onto pit road, continuing with green flag pit stops. Just 44 laps of racing to go. We talked about the pit window being over 50 laps, so anyone coming onto pit road now should be able to make it all the way to the end without having to come back to pit road.
A lot of these guys would like to see the caution fly at about 20 laps though, Phil. Especially the ones that pitted a little quick, like Kurt Busch, made up some track position, and if he gets some new tires, maybe he'd have a shot to run at these boys.
Justin Lofton stays out on the racetrack. He gains the lead, so it's Lofton, Cale Gale, Miguel Paludo, Kyle Busch, Joey Coulter, your top 5. Race fans, Speed has teamed up with your favorite tracks to offer amazing ticket deals you can't get anywhere else. Why pay full price? Before you buy, go to speed.com/deals and see how much you can save. Be sure to check out our incredible inside deal for Chicagoland Speedway. Cale Gale out in front. Kyle Busch has moved up to 2nd. Busher is 3rd. Paludo is 4th. Now Paludo has moved up to 3rd because Cale Gale has come off the racetrack, and Kyle Busch is your new leader
You know,
once again.
Rick Lately, Ty Dillon, Parker Kligerman, PK, all these trucks are running faster than Kyle Busch. Kyle has a track position because he ran out on them before the pit stops, but since the pit stops, the adjustments that some of these cats have made have got their trucks running faster than Kyle's.
I've been watching James Busher. He was dipping down in the 31-second bracket a lot of the laps. There's Miguel Polito. He's the last truck remaining on the racetrack that has not pitted yet, and he's losing now spots to James Busher and
other trucks. It's a couple of seconds a lap too that he's losing. He desperately needs that caution to fly. We saw him going a lap down right before the pit stop started, and he stayed out all through the stops. He needs a caution to fly.
See a comparison between Kyle Larson, Ty Dillon. That is the graphic comparison. Let's take a look at Ty Dillon.
You saw the left side over 10 seconds on the left side. They didn't have any trouble changing tires. They waited to get this thing full of fuel, Michael, and I didn't see any problem when the guy plugs the second can and watches the gas pan. He's going to grab the second can, wait for the tire changer to come, then plugs it in. I don't see him wrestling with it like it didn't have a good seal.
But it shouldn't take that long to get a full tank of gas in a truck. You can watch the tires are changed. They're waiting. 10 seconds on the left side. Ray, what happened there? It didn't look like there was a problem.
Well, Michael, it's interesting when we make this comparison between that 3 and the 4. Keep in mind, the 3 is talking about winning a championship. So their entire goal is, what if this thing goes green? We got to make sure that thing is packed full of fuel. I ran down to check on Kyle Larson. I looked up at his crew chief, Mike Hillman Jr., and I said, you got enough fuel? He said, I have no idea, but there's going to be another caution, so we're not worried about it. They're here to win the race. The 3's here to win a championship.
I like gambling a little bit if I'm Mike Hillman Jr. or Kyle Larson. Heck, there's got to be another caution. There wasn't a year ago, but there's got to be tonight. So let's just get back on the track and gain some ground.
Well, the odds are with us then, if there wasn't one last year.
And Larson is currently running in the 8th spot. This is the battle for that 8th position. Joey Coulter to the bottom of the racetrack. Kyle's doing another amazing job. We saw him perform at a level missing crashes this year better than we've seen veterans do it. So this kid's got the talent, and he's running well again.
After the green flag pit stops have cycled through, Kyle Busch has a 4.3 second lead over second place James Busher. Ty Dillon, Parker Kligerman, Nelson Piquet Jr. are your top 5.
The race is near. They got their trucks tuned up. Holy cow, it's going to get tight.
And most every racetrack we go to, we got to think about maybe putting 2 tires on.
We're not going to think about
Not here. We're thinking 4.
We're going to get 4 and give our driver the best chance he has to go do something with Kyle Busch.
Everybody all in line as they open pit road, and that means Kyle Busch will lead the field onto pit road. Just behind him, James Busher, Ty Dillon, Parker Kligerman, Nelson Piquet Jr., and Matt Crafton. They're your top 6 as they make their way onto pit road. We start with Hermie.
Kyle Busch will get 4 tires, no changes. He likes his truck. He likes the balance of it. 4 tires, Sunoco fuel. The 31 of James Busher, no grip. They're going to make an air pressure adjustment. 4 tires and Sunoco fuel for Busher. Ray?
Well, the big question is, do you go with 2 or 4? Nelson Piquet said, I think the balance will be better with 4, so they're going to do that. Guess what? On that last pit stop, they weren't able to get all the fuel in for Ty Dillon, so they're pumping that thing full this time. Ty Dillon is going to have a good battle here. He's actually going to be the first one off pit road. He beats Kyle Busch out.
Great pit work by Ty Dillon's team.
How about that number 1 pit stall that young man earned when he got the pole position? That was the key to grabbing the lead here.
And now we'll see if he can hang on to it.
18 started on the top. What do you...
They're already talking strategy. Said the 18 started on the top the last restart. So will Ty Dillon take that away from him? Matt Crafton in that 88, running in the 10th spot. Kligerman, Busher, side by side. Take a look at this off of pit road.
Yeah, they have a great battle off pit road. James Busher and Parker Kligerman.
What happened there?
James just slowed down, way down.
And so did Parker.
Maybe they felt like they were going too fast. They had nobody right in front of them. Nelson Piquet Jr. almost ran in the back of Kligerman.
Why are there all these wave arounds right now?
A few trucks decided they would gamble.
Well, and it will work if they catch a caution in
Right.
the next 2 or 3 laps.
Felt like half the field just drove around.
Yeah. We're going to restart with 21 laps to go.
And here they come.
They may get lapped.
Oh, and you know what? This is a gamble, but you know, you run 10 laps, caution comes out. These guys come and get their tires then. they don't get lapped, they might have a shot, some of them, at grabbing a top 10 finish here.
Yeah,
we know how important these tires are.
It's a good gamble.
I like that.
A few guys taking a chance here. So it's Ty Dillon and Kyle Busch. Ty Dillon won the race off pit road. He chose the high line, taking that away from Kyle Busch. Will it work out? Green flag back in the air.
Well, Kyle Busch pulled right up next to his quarter panel, the side draft, and it propelled him forward.
And then he had to dive down and block off PK Buescher, because he was looking to the inside, but he makes it work, grabs the lead on turn 2, the 3 wide for second.
Kligerman makes it 3 wide, jumps in the middle of Ty Dillon and James Buescher.
Kyle Busch out in front, 3 wide for second. Buescher on the bottom of the racetrack. Ty Dillon on the high side. Kligerman drops back into the 3rd or 4th spot.
Look at Matt Crafton way high on the track, trying to get on the outside of Eric Almirola.
Matt has made a lot of ground up on these restarts on the high side.
20 laps of racing to go. Kyle Busch out in front of James Buescher, Ty Dillon, Parker Kligerman, Joey Coulter. And now a battle for second to the high side. Buescher is going to take that spot away from Ty Dillon.
James Buescher was really, really fast right before that caution flag came out.
As was Dillon. These guys had Kyle's number as they were racing under green. Got 4 tires, maybe one more adjustment. Can they go get him?
This time by 19 laps of racing to go. Side by side for position, Ryan Blaney, Johnny Sauter. Some of these guys that didn't come onto pit road decided to take the wave around. They're falling back quickly.
They're going to do that. They're just gambling, like Phil said, on a caution so they can get some tires and try to parlay that gamble into a great finish. First 3 trucks, you see them there, they all ran within 1/10 of a second of each other last time by. Kyle's not getting away from them.
Field spread out once again. Kyle Busch has about a 3/10 second lead over James Buescher. Then 3/10 back to Ty Dillon.
Last time by, Buescher the fastest truck. You can see Dillon's changed his line, trying to run a little higher on the track.
So once again, Kyle Busch in front of the field, but he's got a lot of competitors right on his back bumper. Check out and subscribe to our NASCAR mobile alerts. Get the latest NASCAR race results and breaking news sent right to your phone. Text NASCAR Speed 3 or Speed NASCAR Text Alerts. Driven by Good Sam Roadside Assistance. Ty Dillon got his hands full, but still chasing after Kyle Busch, about a second back.
Yeah, Ty was faster than Kyle the 2 previous laps. That last lap, Kyle beat him by about a 1/10 and a half.
Look at how low Ty is able to run, and he likes that low side. He keeps it low all the way off the corner. Means that truck's handling good. That time by, Kyle was just a tick of the watch faster than Ty. They're tied, basically, running the same lap times.
Problem is there's a 1 second gap in between the 2 trucks. Kyle Busch has that lead. Ty Dillon running second.
Check out this battle. Coulter's running in 6th. PK and Larson are all over. Watch Kyle Larson come off, gets too high into the wall.
That's the previous lap, then jerks it away from it and saves that truck. Now he goes back by PK, who passed him after he got into the wall.
Look, sideways again.
Sideways again.
This is fun.
Just his second truck race, and he's getting a little bit of an adrenaline rush right here. 11 laps of racing to go. Kyle Busch, Ty Dillon, James Buescher, Parker Kligerman, Eric Almirola. They're your top 5. And it's Joey Coulter, Kyle Larson, Nelson Piquet Jr., Matt Crafton, and Kurt Busch, your top 10.
Jump inside with Matt Crafton. See if he can do anything with PK. We watched Larson get around him, and Kyle is now trying to go after Coulter on the bottom of the track.
That's a battle for the 6th spot up ahead. There it is right there, side by side for 6th.
That Ford truck has Chip Ganassi Racing all over, and I think Chip's got him a good one there.
How impressive has Kyle Larson been as well in his 2 Camping World Truck Series starts, now battling to see if he can get a top 5 finish. His first race was 10th.
I was going to say, see if he can get off this corner without bouncing off the wall. He went all the way up to it.
Joey Coulter able to get back by. Here comes Nelson Piquet Jr. in the 30.
We've seen Larson not be afraid of getting sideways at all. And that's what you got to do here in Atlanta if you want to survive. And he did it there and survived, but he's lost a spot.
Matt Crafton has the best seat in the house to that battle. Crafton running in the 9th spot just behind Larson and PK Jr.
Ooh, he had to get out of the throttle there in the center of the corner and off the corner.
Almost up into the wall once again is Kyle Larson in the 4. Going for everything he can with under 10 laps of racing to go.
Look at Larson way down low on the track. You see the front end of the truck dragging on the ground. Then all the way to the high side on the exit sideways. We're just using all the room we can find.
Guys, the gap between 1 and 2 has shrunk. It was a second. Now it's 0.6 of a second as we have 8 laps of racing to go.
Yeah, big pickup by Ty that last time. He beat Kyle by 0.3 of a second to close it within about 0.6.
These two continue to battle for position. Joey Coulter just in front of Kyle Larson. There's the gap for the lead. Kyle Busch in front of Ty Dillon running in the second spot. You see who's faster. Ty Dillon had the faster lap. James Buescher even quicker than those two.
And then the most exciting laps are being turned by the Ford truck with Kyle Larson, because most of his
have been sideways.
Are sideways, going from the bottom of the track to the top of the track, and he's still after Coulter as hard as he can go. They've broken away a little bit from PK. That will help him if he's able to get alongside Coulter again. Look at this.
This time by, the gap has been closed. Kyle Busch only 0.1 of a second in front of Ty Dillon. And here comes Dillon working to the inside for the lead. Ty Dillon takes it away from Kyle Busch.
Just keep that thing down, Ty. Don't bounce off that wall on exit.
Kyle's in the wall. Kyle Busch slams the wall going down the backstretch. Issues for the 18. What are they talking about, Ray?
It has been really fun listening to this 3 radio. He has had advice from his spotter, who is Billy O'Day. He's had advice from his dad, Mike Dillon. He's had advice from his crew chief, and he's had advice from his grandpa, Richard Childress, who 3 laps ago said, change your line in 1 and 2, and you'll be a lot faster.
Well, I love the way they coach this kid. Kyle's into the wall again. Tell me he doesn't want this win bad. Driving that truck as hard as he can go, but Ty Dillon is driving away.
5 laps of racing to go. Ty Dillon is pulled away from Kyle Busch. It's almost a half a second now.
I think Kyle's done enough damage to that truck, Hermie, that I don't think he's in contention anymore for this win.
He's really too loose. Went loose all of a sudden about 5 laps ago. He started talking about it. The 3 got by him, and now he's trying to pick the pace back up. Just way too loose to run with the 3 truck right now.
I'll tell you, I still wouldn't want to see a caution if I was that 3 truck. You give Kyle Busch a couple of laps and put him beside Ty Dillon, he's going to make a race out of it. But you're right, Phil. He's hit the wall really hard. Let's see the first time he does it.
See, he was very close to Ty right there. Gets a little bit loose. He's loose. He just runs out of racetrack at the exit of turn number 2. He actually runs into it again twice on that run. This is the next time around that he hits it.
That one wasn't so bad, but this one you can see he gets into the wall in the center of the corner and hangs in it. Just scrubs that right side along, probably doing some damage to the right front fender, which will take away some of the downforce that he desperately needs here.
With only 3 laps to go, do you remember the comment you made about the first-time winners in this series because Kyle Busch wasn't in it? Who's up front and who hasn't won in the Truck Series?
Ty Dillon hasn't won in the Truck Series.
Ty says, I got this. I don't care if he's in the race or not. And remember what I said earlier, too, about this team rebounding, their vengeance, how when they stumble, they're able to come right back. I think of Martinsville in the spring when they couldn't find anything to go right on practice day. He finishes second on race day. Last week, the thing runs out of gas. This week, he's trying to drive to victory lane.
Can we have a 6th first-time winner here in 2012?
It was only a matter of time, is what we have continued to say week in and week out about Ty Dillon. When can he get to victory lane? It looks like he's about a lap and a half away of doing that, but that's still a long way here at Atlanta.
This is the greatest feeling in the whole world, Phil. I know you and I are both fortunate enough to win in NASCAR. When you're driving off to that first win, he takes the white flag. There's nothing that feels any better.
Final lap for Ty Dillon. Had his worst career finish last Wednesday at Bristol when they had a fuel pickup issue toward the end of the race. Wasn't able to finish as strongly as he should have, and now he's trying to back it up with his first ever win in the Truck Series.
Talk about, can he make his way back into the point race? I think he can.
He is battling right now to get back into the points race, but right now he is going to grab his first ever Camping World Truck Series win, and it comes at Atlanta Motor Speedway.
Yeah! We did it! Way to go, baby! Way to go, Marquez, you're the man! Great job, Ty Dillon. Great job, bud. Thank you, Lord. Thank you. She was on our side tonight, boys.
Thank you, Lord.
Yes, sir, buddy. Prayers. Great job, man.
Bowing his head, too, to say thank
Pop,
you.
pop.
Love
Telling
you
him
guys.
great
Thank
job.
you so much. Wow, you're awesome.
Let me
Such a
throw
dream
this
come true.
statistic
And
at you.
Atlanta, baby.
We've always talked about the Dillon brothers. Austin Dillon won a championship in the Camping World Truck Series a year ago. Did you know that Austin Dillon's first 3 wins came from starting on the pole? And Ty Dillon starts on the pole tonight and will go to victory lane. Ray Dunlap.
Well, let's hear from his crew chief, Marcus Richmond. How about from a worst finish a week ago at Bristol to a first career win for your boy?
Man, this just says a lot about this team right here. This Bass Pro Shop Chevrolet is awesome. I just can't thank Richard Childress, Mike Dillon, everybody at RCR, Fab Shop, Danny Parker. This is a brand new truck right here, and she's bad to the bone. We're coming.
All right, go celebrate in victory lane. Great points night tonight for team number 3.
Got it in the single digits, only 9 back. Made up for big loss last week. And man, getting your first victory here in Atlanta, this is this is a driver's track. This is where you got to slide her sideways. He's never been here before.
Hey,
never seen the place.
He's never won in the Camping World Truck Series. How about that burnout?
He's won a lot of races, though. He's won a lot of races.
Remember how we told you this place is slick? You can really spin your tires here at Atlanta.
How about the win for Ty Dillon? Grabs the checkered flag, and he begins his celebration from Atlanta Motor Speedway. We're going to hear from him in victory lane when we come back. In victory lane for the first time in his Camping World Truck Series career, Ty Dillon. And down there to talk to him, Ray Dunlap.
Yeah, his brother Austin came in for a big congratulations. Here's Grandpa. They call him Pop Pop. And they are getting a big hug here. 17th career start for Ty Dillon. He's in victory lane here at Atlanta Motor Speedway. Come on out, young man. 1 year ago, this fella was at Toledo Speedway celebrating an ARCA Racing Series presented by Menards Championship. And today, his first NASCAR Camping World Truck Series victory. Congratulations. How's victory lane feel?
It's amazing. My guys are awesome, man. I can't say enough about them. My guys at the shop, Adam Brown, I know you're watching. We love you guys. Everybody put a hand on this truck, ECR engines. Amazing night, man. I gotta thank the Lord. I mean, that caution wouldn't have come out, we wouldn't have made it on field again. Just so happy for how hard we've worked. You know, it's our rookie year, and we're battling for this championship. Our team doesn't give up. I think Bass Pro Shops, Johnny Morris is an amazing guy, amazing friend, and staying with our grandfather and me and Austin, supporting us in everything we do. And Tag Heuer Eyewear, just everybody, UNOH. It's a wonderful college, and man, I'm just so happy and so excited, and I finally did it. I won a NASCAR race. It's been my whole life, and to finally do it means so much. So, man, this is awesome. Thank you.
Congratulations. A lot of side-by-side and a great pass on Kyle Busch. Ty Dillon's in victory lane here at Atlanta.
All smiles for Ty Dillon. Guts and glory. A Ram Guts and glory has to be the 18 of Kyle Busch. Into the wall a few times. Not once, not twice, but a few times.
And that's going to mean so much to Ty Dillon, seeing how hard and how bad Kyle Busch wanted this win, and Ty just took it away from him at the end.
Kyle Busch had led the most laps in this race. 75 times he was out front. Let's hear from him. He's standing by with Hermie.
Kyle Busch led a lot of laps, got down to the last 10 or 15 laps. Tell us what went on with your truck.
Nothing, just got beat. It's a truck that's won here 3, 4, 5 years in a row, whatever it's been. So, you know, we just got beat on setup tonight. Felt like the truck was decent, but definitely we just don't have a good enough handle on it in the long run. So we kind of struggle there, where those guys can keep accelerating and going. So just got beat. Thanks to Dollar General, Monster, everybody that's Flexco, and you know, good night, I guess.
Aside from wanting to win this race, part of what you were trying to do is evaluate this program. What did you learn tonight that you can help get this program back to winning consistently like it has in the past?
You got to get off the same old stuff you've run for 3 years. That's the problem. We've got to get on something new. You know, those guys have beat us here 3, 4 years in a row, and we've run the same setup 3, 4 years in a row, and we've been beat. I finished second here every time. So it's about time you get off the same old horse and go ride a new one.
That's Kyle Busch. He finishes second.
James Busher, Parker Kligerman, Eric Almirola end up with top 5 finishes, but the man who celebrates and will have a smile on his face for a long time is Ty Dillon. This is something that he will never have to worry about getting old. The celebration in victory lane.
I thought you meant he wasn't ever going to have to worry about getting old. I used to think that too, Rick.
But getting to get to victory lane is something that you just can't ever take for granted. And Ty Dillon gets there for the first time. Take a look at his just for minute auto stop, fastest pit stop.
What a pit stop this was too. Got in the lead late. He qualified on the pole. That gave him an advantage getting off pit road. And look at that team performing.
He ended up losing the lead to Kyle Busch, but man, did he get it back.
Wow, that's pretty.
Full moon. Does that mean that we're going to have another first-time winner? We had one tonight. It's Ty Dillon grabbing the hardware at Atlanta Motor Speedway. Coming up, continued post-race coverage will be on Speed Center. Adam Alexander, you'll see all of that. That's coming up next. How about the points battle? Now it's just 9 points that separate your top three. Timothy Peters, not a great night for him. Buescher second by just 6 points back. Ty Dillon 9 points out of the lead.
Ty gained 16 points. Parker Kligerman gains 10 points, up to 21 behind in fourth spot.
We knew Kyle Busch was going to be a topic that we were going to talk about, and it was Kyle Busch that was the guy Ty Dillon had to beat to get his first ever win.
And who would you rather beat? Who would it mean more to Ty Dillon to win than passing Kyle Busch late in the going? What a great race.
One of the best in the trucks. Ty Dillon grabs his first ever win in the Camping World Truck Series. Coming up next on Speed Center, Adam Alexander. In victory lane for the first time in his Camping World Truck Series career, Ty Dillon. And down there to talk to him, Ray Dunlap.
Yeah, his brother Austin came in for a big congratulations. Here's Grandpa. They call him Pop Pop. And they are getting a big hug here. 17th career start for Ty Dillon. He's in victory lane here at Atlanta Motor Speedway. Come on out, young man. 1 year ago, this fella was at Toledo Speedway celebrating an ARCA Racing Series presented by Menards Championship. And today, his first NASCAR Camping World Truck Series victory. Congratulations. How's victory lane feel?
It's amazing. My guys are awesome, man. I can't say enough about them. My guys at the shop, Adam Brown, I know you're watching. We love you guys. Everybody put a hand on this truck, ECR engines. Amazing night, man. I gotta thank the Lord. I mean, that caution wouldn't have come out, we wouldn't have made it on field again. Just so happy for how hard we've worked. You know, it's our rookie year, and we're battling for this championship. Our team doesn't give up. I think Bass Pro Shops, Johnny Morris is an amazing guy, amazing friend. And staying with our grandfather and me and Austin, supporting us in everything we do. And Tag Heuer Eyewear, just everybody, UNOH. It's a wonderful college. And man, I'm just so happy and so excited. And I finally did it. I won a NASCAR race. It's been my whole life. And to finally do it means so much. So, man, this is awesome. Thank you.
Congratulations. A lot of side-by-side and a great pass on Kyle Busch. Ty Dillon's in victory lane here at Atlanta.
All smiles for Ty Dillon. Guts and glory. A Ram Guts and Glory has to be the 18 of Kyle Busch. Into the wall a few times, not once, not twice, but a few times.
And that's going to mean so much to Ty Dillon, seeing how hard and how bad Kyle Busch wanted this win, and Ty just took it away from him at the end.
Kyle Busch had led the most laps in this race. 75 times he was out front. Let's hear from him. He's standing by with Hermie.
Kyle Busch led a lot of laps, got down to the last 10 or 15 laps. Tell us what went on with your truck.
Nothing, just got beat. It's a truck that's won here 3, 4, 5 years in a row, whatever it's been. So, you know, we just got beat on setup tonight. Felt like the truck was decent, but definitely we just don't have a good enough handle on it in the long run. So we kind of struggle there, where those guys can keep accelerating and going. So just got beat. Thanks to Dollar General, Monster, everybody at Flexco, and you know, good night, I guess.
Aside from wanting to win this race, part of what you were trying to do is evaluate this program. What did you learn tonight that you can help get this program back to winning consistently like it has in the past?
You got to get off the same old stuff you've run for 3 years. That's the problem. We've got to get on something new. You know, those guys have beat us here 3, 4 years in a row, and we've run the same setup 3, 4 years in a row, and we've been beat. I finished second here every time. So it's about time you get off the same old horse and go ride a new one.
That's Kyle Busch. He finishes second.
James Buescher, Parker Kligerman, Eric Almirola end up with top 5 finishes, but the man who celebrates and will have a smile on his face for a long time is Ty Dillon. This is something that he will never have to worry about getting old. The celebration in victory lane.
I thought you meant he wasn't ever going to have to worry about getting old. I used to think that too, Rick.
But he Getting to get to victory lane is something that you just can't ever take for granted. And Ty Dillon gets there for the first time. Take a look at his Just for Men auto stop. Fastest pit stop.
What a pit stop this was, too. Got in the lead late. He qualified on the pole. That gave him an advantage getting off pit road. And look at that team performing.
He ended up losing the lead to Kyle Busch, but man, did he get it back.
Wow, that's pretty.
Full moon. Does that mean that we're going to have another first-time winner? We had one tonight. It's Ty Dillon grabbing the hardware at Atlanta Motor Speedway. Coming up, continued post-race coverage will be on Speed Center. Adam Alexander, you'll see all of that. That's coming up next. How about the points battle? Now it's just 9 points that separate your top three. Timothy Peters, not a great night for him. Buescher second by just 6 points back. Ty Dillon 9 points out of the lead.
Ty gains 16 points. Parker Klickerman gains 10 points, up to 21 behind in fourth spot.
We knew Kyle Busch was going to be a topic that we were going to talk about, and it was Kyle Busch that was the guy Ty Dillon had to beat to get his first ever win.
And who would you rather beat? Who would it mean more to Ty Dillon to win than passing Kyle Busch late in the going? What a great race.
One of the best in the trucks. Ty Dillon grabs his first ever win in the Camping World Truck Series. Coming up next on Speed Center, Adam Alexander.